Uh, I do love most of the points with the Nostalgia Critics video. I hope you can hear me fine too. I don't know if the audio or microphone is being garbage. I just made this world a realm that my friends can play on and play with me. But we will be... I want to talk about the final couple points as well as a couple other things with the Dark Knight conclusions that Nostalgia Critic has made. Especially in his final points. First off, I want to point out the Alfred thing and such of like exposition dumps. While exposition dumps are problems, definitely problems a lot of the time to film, and can be a bit much or overwhelming for some people. I do believe that Michael Caine's Alfred would definitely have stories like that. I've known people in real life to be able to come out with freaking long-ass exposition dump sounding stories themselves about their life. Like, one time my father and I, you know, kind of just exposition dumps or having a story on the back of their head. I had somebody that I lived with, or just several people that I lived with that were capable of doing that, so I don't see it as a unnatural or out of place thing. I do think it is normal enough, and that I don't think it distracts. I think there's a lot more positives than negatives, and a lot of the quotes that Michael Caine makes anyways are very quotable, very memorable, just very unique, and I quote them a lot. I also find that I'll be showing you around my Minecraft houses very briefly. But I find that his final conclusion of like it should have ended when Two-Face ripped off the bandages and went crazy yelling, and it should have just ended there. I don't agree with that on several parts. I actually and his point on the boat situation being more of a Two-Face plan, I don't agree with either. I asked my friends about that, what they thought, and they also did not agree. There are several things that are a problem with that, with concluding it that way, such as the fact that the boats aren't the only part of the plan, as well as what built up to that part. Every time I pop in The Dark Knight, I never have a problem with thinking it's too lengthy. As a matter of fact, I feel it's too short sometimes. It's the one movie, and I guess length can depend on different people's watching experiences. I know people who can fall asleep during the Lord of the Rings movies, even Fellowship, but I can still watch those movies through and without getting bored or tired. It's the same with The Dark Knight, even the last 30 minutes or so. I love The Dark Knight. And less than that, but I mean, so critic, obviously. But I don't agree with those points. There's several other things that build up to that situation, such as the plan with the Joker switching around the patients as looking like his henchmen, or the fact that it's that Two-Face is based around chance rather than choice, which is what this is, as well as chaos. And we wouldn't have a lot of the quotes, those last remaining quotes from Heath Ledger's Joker. I would leave no Heath Ledger part out, even those last couple scenes. And I think the ending is really good on how it ends, as well as it contributes to the context of their actions in the next movie. Which I also have to point out, I hated his joke of saying Batman movies tend to have awful sequels after the second movie, and he put Dark Knight Rises. I do not agree with that either. He's probably joking about it, but that's a little too far. I know a lot of people said like he is almost better than The Dark Knight, and it has a lot more positives and good for it, and it's definitely not even close. Like, putting Dark Knight Rises next to Batman and Robin is like such a stupid thing. That is such a stupid thing to do. They are nothing alike. Dark Knight Rises has way more positives about it than bad. And it's no different than like the Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 3 games, because those have the same story but the third one is actually a continuation of the first game, where the second Silent Hill is not. It's his own thing, which is what The Dark Knight was, and ironically being the second movie, and one of the best. I think that the the plan with the use of the hostages, as well as the previous situation where you saw Joker ride off with the hostages that he turned into looking like his henchman and not Harvey Dent going off with them, uh, makes way more sense and works a lot better. I also think that I also want to bring out I love Batman '89, but I always hated the fact that they had to connect Joker to Batman's parents' death. That was kind of annoying, as well as give him a name and identity, where I like the Joker being more of a mystery rather than have a name and a face. I felt like Jack Nicholson was actually very underutilized and had a lot of potential that felt somewhat wasted. I felt like there could have been way more going on there that we didn't entirely get the full, like, utilization of what we could have gotten with the Joker. I also felt that Heath Ledger's Joker looked more like a Tim Burtonified Joker than the Jack Nicholson one, because the Jack Nicholson one kind of looked like he was strict to just utilizing the comic book look, where you can tell when you watch Batman Returns, those designs for the villains and such look way more Tim Burtonified, and I feel like Heath Ledger's Joker very much fits that. I would even say Two-Face in that movie probably fits that a little bit more too. And I would have liked to see Billy D. Williams as the Joker. I'm actually picking up I have some of those comics that they have, the recent '89 comics of what Tim Burton wanted to do with the Two-Face character. And there's a wither skeleton up there. I'll show you the treehouse here. But I just don't agree with those points. I don't think the movie should have ended there. It has a great conclusion. I love the quotes, especially the ending quotes. Unforgettable. And I love the lead-in as well as the consequences of their actions that lead into The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, there's silly ways in how they get to that, but it works and I love it. It's kind of like the Joker won in a way, without actually being there to witness it. Even though in the book, there's a book on The Dark Knight Rises where he does appear for a brief time. But yeah, I just never agreed with that Nostalgia Critic video. It's the one Nostalgia Critic video I do have some problems with. I do have other problems with some other Nostalgia Critic videos, but they weren't quite as a pet peeve or as annoying as this one was, because this one has been biting at me for a bit now, and I always thought it was pretty stupid. I've asked around, I've asked all my friends, they've all said the same thing. They don't agree with the situation. There is way more to it with not only the fact that they have to choose which boat gets to blow up, but the Joker has a backup button to blow up both boats. I don't think Two-Face would have done that. He would have just stuck to blowing up just one or the other. I don't think that's in Two-Face's nature. That it wouldn't work for his character. So it's just really really weird, the point he made on that. So I just don't agree with that. I've always had an issue with that part in this video. And those were some interesting things I wanted to add to the Joker thing with both Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger. I think both actors are brilliant, but I do feel there's some wasted potential. You can kind of tell that Tim Burton was on a little bit of a leash when it came to how he was making the first Batman movie, Batman '89, because it's like you can tell like the Joker looked more like he was just an over cartoony, saturated version of the comic book version brought to life, instead of like a Tim Burtonified version of that character. Like, look at Penguin compared to the comic books. He looks nothing like he does in the comics compared to the movie version that Tim Burton made, as well as even Catwoman. It's like, it looks nothing like that. but the Joker definitely does. Even Batman somewhat looks different from the comic books. But yeah, I think he was able to go all out with the second movie, Batman Returns. I forgot to go up there, I was so focused on what I was saying. But I mostly wanted to just briefly talk about that. That was my very brief conclusion. I felt like his points on the Dark Knight movie, I didn't totally agree with, whether it be with the points of Alfred's exposition spouting, which yes, that can be a problem, but I don't think it's quite as big as he would probably make it out to be, or if he has, I can't remember, I haven't seen the video in a little bit. I just remembered that one part always sticking out to me, where he talked about the plan feeling more like a Joker plan, and I don't think that's a very conclusive way to end the movie anyways, ending on Two-Face ripping his bandages off right there. Like, I feel like you need the rest of the stuff. I would love to see Two-Face utilized better, but he did work for the third movie in the consequences of their actions. And honestly, it didn't look like they would be able to do much with Two-Face that would have utilized him well enough to the best of his advantage. As well as it didn't seem like Christopher Nolan had much more, like, planning for him. So I guess if you do have a problem, it would be with Two-Face being somewhat underwhelming. But I still think everything worked for the most part. There was way more positives. There's definitely problems with The Dark Knight. There's a lot of scenes, like there's a scene where you can see Mike in the effect of mirrors in that interrogation scene. There's scenes where you can tell when it cuts, characters have their arms or their bodies facing different directions or in different places than they were in the previous scene. Like, and not even like just one scene after the first scene, you like Joker's arms switch over to the other side of Batman's arm in the interrogation room, or say something like the that scene where he's dropping on top of the van, for example. But those are very nitpicky sort of things, so I don't really find them as big a deal or as big a problem compared to anything else you could have had. So I just never agreed with that point that Nostalgia Critic made, and it always annoyed the crap out of me. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. I hope you guys enjoyed and got something out of this. It's just my own personal opinion. Just remember that at the end of the day. But like, I do think those are genuine problems with what Nostalgia Critic was trying to bring up, and I don't think he covered it or had good enough points to that I agreed with or saw as quite as strong as the rest of his video, because I felt the rest of the video was very good up till that point. So hopefully you guys enjoyed nonetheless. I'm gonna make another video right after this. I want to do the Fortnite video. Somebody asked for a Batman Joker Fortnite video, and I'm gonna do some movie videos right after this one. So I'll see you guys next time. Like, share, and subscribe if you did enjoy. And if you, once again, if you did enjoy, remember to hit the bell for notifications and to keep up to date with the latest content and or videos that come onto the channel. Goodbye!